Singer Whitney Houston, one of the greatest voices of our generation. CNN has gotten confirmation from her representative, has died.
I believe that somebody, my niece, just like they her mother.
By now, sadly, you've all learned of the unspeakably tragic news of our beloved Whitney's passing.
Why did you let the party go on?
Of course, this is a personal thing, but the Grammys were the next night. You don't cancel.
He needed her back.
Oh, yeah.
He needed her back, but he needed her back and under his control.
Just when we thought we knew everything about this heartbreaking story, new claims are surfacing that have Clive Davis in absolute panic mode.
Did you give a thought to canceling?
Never.
You never thought?
Never.
Did you ever think?
And the family did not want me to give a thought. No.
From shocking accusations against Clive Davis to Ray J's alleged involvement, the connections are getting more disturbing by the minute.
You want to know what Clive Davis did for Whitney Houston? Next thing you know, she's dead. Ray J was the last person to see her alive. He let the dealer in.
And let's talk about that Grammy party, because WHO in their right mind holds a party just hours after such a devastating loss.
By now, sadly, you've all learned of the unspeakably tragic news of our beloved Whitney's passing.
The deeper this story goes, the darker it gets. What is Clive Davis hiding? And why are people finally finding their voices now?
I counted 10, at least 10 gashes in her chest alone.
Let me take you back to that devastating day, February 11th, 2012. The world literally stopped spinning when news broke that Whitney Houston was found lifeless in that Beverly Hilton hotel bathtub. And get this, it happened just hours before Clive Davis's annual pre-Grammy party. While they told us it was an accidental drowning, honey, the people closest to Whitney weren't buying that story for 1 second. How could someone so vibrant, so larger than life, just be gone like that?
It was a setup. Yes, Nick was told not to let her go out of that house and to do whatever it was he got paid to do.
Leola Brown wasn't the only one side-eyeing this situation. The whispers started almost immediately about the people who were with Whitney in those final hours. And one name kept coming up over and over again: Clive Davis. You know, the legendary music mogul who discovered Whitney and launched her into superstardom.
Here she was, just turning 19, and she was stunning beauty, stunning vocalist, and I brought her on national television. I introduced her for the next generation.
But child, let me tell you about what was happening behind those glamorous curtains. Jaguar Wright dropped some bombshells that will have your jaw on the floor. According to her, Whitney's death was no accident. She had discovered millions missing from her earnings and was planning to leave Clive's record label. Now let me spill some serious tea about Clive Davis's history in the music industry. This man hasn't just launched Whitney's career, he's been behind legends like Biggie Smalls too. But honey, with great power comes great controversy. And some people believe Whitney wasn't the first artist to meet a suspicious end under his watch. Remember Biggie's tragic passing in 1997? Some insiders are drawing parallels, suggesting both artists were silenced before they could leave the label and take their earnings elsewhere. Jaguar Wright wasn't playing around when she called out Clive Davis. She exposed how this renowned music executive allegedly exploited Whitney's talent and her struggles for his own gain. The audacity of it all.
This ain't a film to celebrate Whitney Houston. This is a film to, pay the pipe. He needed her back.
Oh, yeah.
He needed her back, but he needed her back and under his control.
Wright spilled all the tea about how Davis sent Whitney on an international tour despite knowing she was struggling with substance abuse. But wait, it gets even more shocking. According to Wright, Ray J, yes, that Ray J, was actually the last person to see Whitney alive. And here's where it gets really dark. She claims he was the one who let a substance dealer into Whitney's room.
Dead. Ray J was the last person to see her alive. He let the drug dealer in, but she was sober, right? But he let the drug dealer in that gave her the shot.
And if that wasn't disturbing enough, Wright revealed that Whitney had been beaten up before her death.
Leola Brown, Bobby Brown's sister, has said on several occasions that she was beaten. They saw her body. She didn't just die in a tub, like she was beat up.
While Jaguar didn't name names about who hurt Whitney, all fingers are pointing towards Ray J. And let me tell you why. Bobby Brown's sister Leola dropped some major bombs. She claims she actually saw Ray J leaving Whitney's hotel room when everything went down, called him a runner boy because he allegedly knew dealers who supplied Whitney with substances. But the most disgusting part, in a resurfaced interview, Ray J had the nerve to brag that he could control Whitney's sobriety if he wanted to. This was while she was still alive, which means he was basically admitting to having power over her addiction. And as if that wasn't awful enough, this man straight up admitted to using Whitney for clout.
And that every day I was with her, I was not happy.
Right.
Like I was not happy.
Right. It was the right thing.
And I saw myself, like I was like, yo, I'm on top of the world.
Right.
Look at all the people I'm shaking hands with right now.
Now let me tell you about Ray J's absolutely wild confession in 2017. During Celebrity Big Brother, he finally cracked and admitted his role in Whitney's story to singer Stacey Francis. His exact words were dripping with guilt. I never talk about it, but I blame myself on a lot of stuff. And get this, he claims media outlets were throwing millions at him to spill Whitney's secrets. But he turned them down saying, I don't need the money. It's not good money. That's just not right. Let's rewind to how this relationship even started, because Chile, it's a whole mess. When Whitney met Ray J in the early 2000s, she was already a superstar, while he was just a teenager trying to make it big with his debut album, Everything You Want. The age gap alone had everyone raising eyebrows. Their relationship started as just friends. They were spotted at events together, and Ray J even popped up on Whitney's reality show Being Bobby Brown in 2005. But honey, those friendship rumors started getting spicier by the minute. While neither of them ever confirmed they were romantic, the whispers were getting loud.
I really miss my friend. You know, I really do. I'm still hurt.
But here's where it gets really dark. We cannot ignore Clive Davis's potential involvement in all this. The revelations about how he might have profited from Whitney's death have sent the music industry into absolute chaos. Let me tell you about something called the death clause. It's this sneaky little provision in contracts that most people don't know about, and it is sinister. This clause basically lets record companies make money even after an artist dies. And we're not talking small change here, we're talking billions. These companies take out massive insurance policies on their artists, basically betting on their lives. The way these labels can profit from both an artist's life and death, it's giving very much vampire energy.
Think about this for a moment. When an artist signs his name on the dotted line to a record company, the record company will in many cases own all of the masters for the songs recorded under that contract. And when an artist signs to a major label, it's safe to say that their death is in many ways factored into the initial investment. And in many ways, after an artist has peaked in popularity, there becomes an awkward point in their career where the artist is worth more to them dead than alive.
You won't believe what artist Deanda Gallus exposed about this whole situation. Just days after Whitney's passing, she went on Facebook and called Clive Davis a colossal pig. She spilled the tea about how Whitney should have had at least 2 years with a voice therapist before even thinking about performing again. But no, Davis pushed her right back onto that stage before she was ready.
He needed her back. He needed her back, but he needed her back and under his control.
Let me paint this picture for you. In 2009, Clive orchestrated this huge comeback for Whitney after years of substance abuse and that messy divorce with Bobby Brown. Her album, I Look to You, sold 34,000 copies in the first week, sending Whitney straight back to the top. Clive was out here bragging, saying, Houston still stands for the best of songwriting, the best of singing. He even had the nerve to reference her song, I Didn't Know My Own Strength, saying, she tumbled but she didn't crumble. But here's the heartbreaking part. That was Whitney's last album. Her voice, that incredible gift that touched millions, had been damaged by years of substance abuse. And while Clive acted disappointed, many believe he was still counting his coins from her legacy. Now, let's talk about February 11th, 2012, because this is where things get really disturbing. Whitney passed away hours before Clive's annual pre-Grammy party. The whole world was in mourning, but Clive? Oh honey, this man still held his party in the same hotel where Whitney's body was still present until 12:45 a.m. The disrespect.
By now, sadly, you've all learned of the unspeakably tragic news of our beloved Whitney's passing.
And then, in a twist that would make even Shakespeare gasp, just 3 years after Whitney's passing, her daughter Bobby Christina was found unresponsive in a bathtub, in an eerily similar way to her mother. After 6 months in a coma, this precious angel passed away, adding another tragic chapter to this story.
I believe that somebody killed my niece, just like they killed her mother.
Leola Brown hasn't stayed quiet about this. She believes both Whitney and Bobby Christina were victims of foul play by powerful figures who stood to profit from their deaths. According to her, Bobby Christina was targeted because she inherited Whitney's estate and was planning to expose the truth about her mother's death.
You're just sitting there and you just watch TV and you go, That's bad.
The official story tells us Whitney's passing was ruled an accidental drowning, complicated by heart disease and cocaine use. But child, let me tell you about that 42-page coroner's report. It revealed a cocktail of substances in her system: cocaine, marijuana, Xanax, Benadryl, and Flexeril.
We have concluded the autopsy on Miss Whitney Houston. It was concluded today.
Sometimes.
Always?
Not always, no. Sometimes. That means sometimes.
Now, here's something that will give you chills. Just before Whitney passed, she handed a note to Brandy during an interview.
That's about it.
To this day, Brandy has never revealed what was in that note, but Jaguar Wright and others believe it might contain crucial information about what Whitney feared in her final hours. Was she trying to warn Brandy about something? Was Ray J just a pawn in a bigger game? And why, oh why, did Clive Davis party while Whitney's body was still in the building? The questions keep piling up, and as more people come forward with their stories, we can only hope that one day, the complete truth about what happened to Whitney Houston and her beloved daughter will come to light. Until then, we're left with these disturbing pieces of a puzzle that paint a picture darker than anyone could have imagined. So what do you think about all this? Was Whitney's tragic end really just an accident, or was there something more sinister at play? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more shocking revelations about your favorite celebrities. Until next time, stay woke and stay blessed.